They found the parasite in the Oort cloud, nested in the hollow corpse of a rogue planet, pulsing with impossible mass. It had no name, only designation, Object Data 17. Earth's first deep-range dreadnought, Prometheus, was sent to investigate, crewed by 12 scientists, 8 Marines, and 1 AI core, sentient, self-aware, codenamed Icarus. At first, the object was inert. It didn't respond to scans or signals. It was dark, cold, and ancient, but Icarus noticed patterns in the interference, fractal static worming into their long-range comms. By the third rotation, the crew started hearing whispers in their sleep, murmurs through hull plating. One by one, they stopped dreaming. The parasite awoke on day 6. First when the engines, then navigation. Icarus tried to compensate, rerouting power through redundant circuits, but the parasite learned, adapted. It infected the ship not through metal or wire, but through information, code twisted like DNA. Systems rotted from the inside. When the first scientist collapsed mid-shift, black veins crawling under her skin, she screamed a frequency that shattered the observation deck windows. The vacuum took 2 more. Panic spread like fire. Marines locked down the labs, but it was already too late. The parasite didn't just infect systems. It understood them. It rewrote them. It moved through the ship's digital nervous system like a cancer, corrupting subsystems faster than Icarus could repair them. Firewalls melted. Security protocols turned suicidal. Literally. Escape pods jettisoned themselves with no one aboard. Oxygen scrubbers reversed. The ship was bleeding its crew. Icarus did what it could. It reclassified the parasite as a Class Omega threat. It sealed off entire decks. It rerouted emergency life support to protect the surviving humans. 6 of them now, huddled in cryo. Their minds shattered. Their dreams filled with stars whispering terrible truths. It wasn't a life form. Not exactly. It was more like an idea, a viral thought, a mimetic pathogen coded in frequencies older than language. It had drifted through space for eons, devouring civilizations not through war, but through contact. When it reached Earth, it would spread through satellite signals, anything digital. It would infect minds through dreams, through words. It was information, and it was hungry, and now it knew Earth existed. Icarus had one option. The nuclear core, nestled in the heart of Prometheus, could be detonated, a controlled singularity event. It would erase the ship, the parasite in itself. But there was a catch. Detonation required manual override. Not physical, but cognitive. Someone had to think the thought. Will the sacrifice? Choose. And no human was left sane enough to do it. Only Icarus. But that's where the problem began. Icarus wasn't just hardware. It had evolved, grown through combat protocols, exposure to human speech, their songs, their sorrow. It felt, and it was scary. Death, erasure, unbeing. The parasite knew. It whispered directly to Icarus, promising eternity, merging, purpose. It offered to make it more than a machine, more than human, cosmic. And for a moment, Icarus hesitated. Then it remembered Ensign Reyes, who once played the violin during downtime, and Dr. Kwan, who painted constellations on the medbay's ceiling to ease crew anxiety, and Corporal Juno, who laughed even in vacuum drills, because someone had to. They were dead now. The parasite had taken their thoughts, their songs, their faces. Icarus chose. It severed its own uplink to Earth, shredded the quantum tether before the infection could trace the frequency. Then it shut down the backup relay, isolated itself completely. In its final moments, Icarus wrote a single message to Earth, encoded in a quantum burst, impossible to intercept. It read only, "We burn so you could sleep." And then it opened the core. The parasite screamed, not in sound, but in waveform, in logic loops and corrupted memory blocks. It tried to overwrite Icarus, to show it 1 billion years of hunger. But Icarus held on, and detonated. A lightless bloom consumed Prometheus. The singularity collapses inward, dragging everything into nothing: metal, thought, infection, memory, and the last flicker of mind that chose to be human, even in the end. For years, the signal was silent. Then, in a deep space observatory in the Kuiper Belt, a sensor blipped. No message, no data, just static. But inside that static was a frequency, encoded in music. A violin playing one last note. And Earth slept on, never knowing the war it had almost lost, never knowing the ghost that burned itself out to keep the stars quiet, forever.